Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and this week I've been driving the 2023 Lexus LS500h. Up front is a 3.5 liter V6 paired to a hybrid system, and down below is a CVT. Now I am super excited to be making this video because this car is luxurious, and I thought this might be a good opportunity to stick it into a lower gear. In a lot of my videos I'm shouting over straight piped exhausts and V8s and rotary engines, and it's a lot going on at once. But this car has been so calming to drive that I thought that maybe today I'd take a little bit of a different approach to my video. And so instead of going, "What's up, guys?" I'm going to play it nice and easy. It's going to be a calm, fun, relaxing video today without all of the crazy yelling and screaming I tend to do. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed by me here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that 3.5 liter V6 as well as the hybrid system. Well, this is the 500h, and that little h at the end of the name signifies that it is a hybrid. Now, the 3.5 liter that they're using is naturally aspirated, and Toyota has been using this in their products for a very, very long time in one form or another. Now they keep adapting it and making it a little bit different, but at its core it's really a 2-decade-old engine, which is actually good to see because that means it has a little bit of prowess and will probably stick around for a little bit. Now, along with that 3.5 liter, we also have 2 electric motors on board, which the entire system horsepower is brought up to 345 horsepower. Is it super fast? Is it going to melt your face off in the quarter mile? Not quite, but it is a very relaxing and very luxurious experience. You don't really put your foot to the floor in a vehicle like this, so you don't need all the horsepower in the world. Like I said, paired to it is a CVT, meaning continuously variable transmission. It's actually fine. I don't mind it. I think hybrids work really well with CVTs. It's a calm, collected experience, and that's what I would want out of a vehicle like this. Last but not least, with the help of those 2 electric motors, the Lexus LS500h is all-wheel drive. So how does it feel to drive a Lexus LS500h from 2023? Well, it's an incredibly relaxing experience, if you could tell by my voice. The ride is fantastic and super, super comfortable, which is helped out by the wheels. If you notice, these wheels look a little bit smaller, and they're actually only 20-inch wheels. Now, that does still seem big, although this is a big car, but a lot of modern luxury cars do 22-inch, 23-inch to really make the car look good. And so, arguably, yeah, these wheels do look small, but they help out the ride quality immensely and make it handle like older luxury cars used to. Visibility is decent. I do have relatively thick A-pillars, and out the back it's not amazing, but this car does have several camera systems we'll touch on that definitely help out. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me I have a completely digital gauge cluster. This is highly customizable, and there are several different modes that you can actually choose from, but I like how it's overall laid out. It has a very calming, very relaxing, and very luxurious feel and look to it, and it is easy to read even in the sunlight. I also do get a head-up display up above the gauge cluster, which is customizable as well, and it does give me a fair amount of information. However, I feel as though the RX 350 had a clearer head-up display, if that makes sense. Also above the gauge cluster, I do have 2 knobs. So off to the left is my traction control and snow mode, and off to the right is my Sport, Sport Plus, Normal, Custom, Comfy, and Eco modes. I left this car in Comfy mode, and I have 0 regrets in the world. On the steering wheel, on the left, I have my selectors for that gauge cluster screen, as well as phone options, volume, and voice commands. And off to the right, I have my adaptive cruise control options, as well as the advanced driving. So this does have Lexus's advanced adaptive cruise, which essentially will drive the car for you, but it's not full self-driving. I used it on the highway, and it actually was very good. That's why you'll find sensors all around the Lexus 500h. We'll talk about that with the exterior, but I think it actually is a really good system. The overall steering wheel is leather wrapped and is soft to the touch, besides the tiny wood accents. Off to the left, I do have a climate control vent and several buttons. So I do have my ride height adjustment. I can put the vehicle either into high mode or not high mode. There's no low mode, it's just not high mode, EV mode, and my head-up display. I also do have a little tiny cubby for like a parking garage pass or something, gas cap release, trunk opener, and hood. Moving on to the door, I have 3 levels of memory seats. Fantastic to see that. As well as I have this little R badge. The R will actually enable me to use my own seat controls to control the passenger seat, which is fantastic for someone who might not be able to, for someone who might not know how to work it, or in my case, when your passenger is asleep, you can recline them so they don't twist their neck. We do get these really nice accent pieces on the door as well, and moving down the door, we have our power mirrors, power locks, and power windows. Something interesting about the window switches is that the rear window switches have dual purpose, so they can also be used to open and close the sunshades found in the back seat. Moving into the center, we have our screen along with an analog clock. I love the look of these analog clocks that Lexus puts in their vehicles. But then we do have the nice touch screen. We do have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. This also pipes the sound out to the Mark Levinson sound system, which is a 23 speaker system. Absolutely love that. And we do have some Wi-Fi connectability and other things like that, but we do have several camera views we could take a look at. First, we'll look at the backup camera, traditional for when you are reversing, but then there also are 2 different views of the 360 camera. Now, I really like the addition of this. However, I don't like it in practice because it always does this spinning sort of rev up to prepare the camera, and it isn't skippable. So you always have to sit through this when you do your 360 view. Moving down the center stack, we have 2 climate control vents with the hazard switch, and then we do have physical climate controls. So you can adjust them in the screen, but you can also adjust them here with the physical buttons, and that's what I prefer. I love having physical buttons in cars. Lexus has sort of teetered that line for years, where back in the late 2000s, they were doing just touchscreen, and then they've sort of swayed back, and then they've gone back to touchscreen in the RX 350, but here in the LS, they have physical buttons, and I really appreciate that. Then we have some interesting switches down below. So we do have our auto holding brake off to the left. We have our parking assist, our view button, so we could toggle those cameras whenever we want, and our seat button, which most notably gives you access to the massaging seats. So there's 5 different massage programs that you can cycle through. I am a big fan of the lumbar massage, but I'll take any of them. This is my first press vehicle to have massage seats, and my theory was correct. Every time I get in the car, I hit massage. And maybe after years of ownership that might go away, but for now, I'm enjoying it. We do also have 2 USB-C chargers. Absolutely love that they've switched over to USB-C. Very modern for a vehicle that isn't the most modern in the world. A little badge for the Mark Levinson sound system. And then moving into the center stack, we do have the shifter off to the left. This is Lexus's more modern shifter. They actually got it from the Prius all those decades ago. It's a little weird to get used to, but once you are used to it, there's no issue. Then we do have our buttons for the heated and ventilated seats, as well as the heated steering wheel. All of those options can be set to auto as well, so they'll match the climate controls. You turn the heat up, your seat heat will turn up. You turn the AC on, your ventilated seats will turn on as well. Love that distinction. And we do have a rear power sunshade. However, that's not the only sunshades that the back gets, as you saw with the window switches. But off to the right, we do have cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test. And unfortunately, but like most Lexus products, it does fail. But this car isn't really meant for that. Then we do get a center console, and it's sort of a trick opening center console, which I really like. You can actually open it both ways. So the passenger can open it towards them, and the driver can open it towards them. Very neat. But now we have to talk about the seats. Now the seats are 28-way adjustable. That's right, there's 28 different ways that you can finagle and finesse your driver's seat. Now, like I said, it's also heated, ventilated, power, memory, and massaging, which is everything I could ever ask for from a modern luxury seat. I do also want to point out that the passenger seat does get 3 different levels of memory seats, 1 setting each for your wife, girlfriend, and side piece. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, which is where you really want to be in the Lexus LS500h. So let's go do a backseat review. All right, we're in the back of the 2023 Lexus LS500h. And normally I do these backseat reviews. I sit behind the driver so I can kind of gauge if I could sit behind myself. Today I didn't do that. Today I am sitting behind the passenger because this is actually the seat you want to be in when you sit in the back of the LS500h. And let me show you why. First of all, knee room great, headroom great, as it is. I do get a little vanity mirror that pops down with a little light. Absolutely love that. How am I looking today? Seem to be looking pretty good. No complaints from me. I also do get vents, little laundry hook, and a leather wrapped handle. Love that. Mark Levinson speaker on the door. I do have a vent on the B pillar, which is fantastic, and my power windows, which are fantastic as well. However, somewhat hidden here in the center, I do have a pull-down center console. And in this center console, you will not only find 2 cup holders, but you will find a touchscreen. So allow me to switch over to my phone video to show you what I'm looking at. So down here, we have a bunch of options. First of all, we can do the rear sunshades. So the side windows get them, along with the tiny little baby window back there. Check that out. Very cool. And of course, we can do the rear sunshade as well. However, it goes beyond that. So we do have heated and ventilated seats for both rear occupants. I can also control the radio volume. Now, I don't currently have anything playing up there, but if I did, I could control that and skip tracks. Dual zone climate in the back, so I get my own climate zone and the other passenger gets their own climate zone. I can fully adjust my seat from here. So several different touch points in which I can do the seats, and I have memory seats as well. This is for the left and the right. You can recline them. However, you'll see this other seat option, which is for passenger. When you hit that, it moves the seat forward so I can now extend my legs. This makes the LS500h so wonderful, and you can only do this on the passenger side because obviously you can't move the driver forward. They're driving the car. So that is wonderful. And I can recline my own seat, slide out like that. And now we can switch back to the GoPro. Yeah, this is nice. We should do this more often. Lovely. Simply lovely. I love all the soft touches you get back here. I mean, even this sort of, I don't know if it's suede or Alcantara or microfiber. I don't really know the differences between all of those. Very nice headliner, speakers everywhere you look. 2 different climate zones in the back. And I do get an outlet down below. I mean, it doesn't get much better than this. This is what I want to take a road trip in. Actually, to be fair, the rear seats are not massaging. Am I really going to complain about that? Really? Come on. Have some journalistic integrity, Zack. Anyway, let's hop out. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the LS500h, there's a little button over here that is a one-touch power trunk. Absolutely love that. Now, this is actually kind of an issue with the LS500h. Because of those reclining seats, it doesn't go in very far, so I was unable to fit a Rubbermaid container back here or anything of that sort. So unfortunately, cargo space in the rear isn't that great. Now, you're going to be able to fit your luggage going to the airport, carry-ons, things like that, but for a big long trip, this is not as much room as I would have expected in a big vehicle like this. But again, you sacrifice that for those amazing rear seats. Then when we want to close it, beautiful. Just like that. Nice, simple, and easy. Now we got to talk about the looks, and this is finished in Nightfall Metallic, which I think is a lovely color with the white interior accented with it. I think overall it's a very luxurious and very sort of stealth wealth look to it. That's what I really love about the look of the Lexus, is that yes, this is almost $115,000, and yet it doesn't look anything crazy. It doesn't drag any attention. It's not like the European brands that demand you to look at them anytime they pull up with their 90-inch wheels and 8 different spoilers. This looks like pretty much any other Lexus, and yet it doesn't drive or act like any of them, and that is a wonderful spot to be in. One downside of the exterior are the sensors/cameras. Lexus didn't do an amazing job when trying to cover these up or make them not seen. They're very visible, and on the driver's side, this little area for the sensors and cameras stuck out to me immediately. So could have been a little bit more seamless in my opinion. However, with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think having driven the Lexus LS500h for the last week? Well, it's been nothing short of absolutely wonderful. And I can always tell when a car is going to be extra wonderful because my non-car friends and family actually take interest in it. This car isn't fun and interesting just for car people, but for regular people with regular lives that don't have this fixation on automobiles like you and I probably do. I was a little worried when I first looked at the spec sheet and saw V6 hybrid, and I thought, okay, well, we'll see. But my worries soon went away. Not only is the power more than adequate, but it's also the 3.5 liter that Lexus has used for a very long time. And I'm glad that they're, at least at this moment, still sticking with that powertrain. I love all the gadgets and gizmos in here, and if I know anything, I recently drove an LS430 with over 300,000 miles on it. All of its gadgets and gizmos still worked. So with the proper maintenance and care, I think this car is ready to go the distance like its ancestors did before it. The most shocking part of this car, I guess you could say, which isn't really even shocking, is what effect it has on my mood. I feel relaxed, I feel mature, I feel dignified while driving this car. You know, I had an interesting moment the other night at dinner. I was at a journalism, media, automotive dinner with a couple people from a couple different car brands and head journalists and writers. I'm sure you've seen their work somewhere. And there was a moment where I wasn't involved in any of the conversations. The person to my right was talking to someone else, the person to my left was talking to someone else, and the people across the table were engaged in their own conversation. And for the first time in my life, I was okay with that. As a kid or younger adult, I would have internalized that and thought, what am I doing wrong? Why is no one engaging with me? But I just sat, I ate my calamari, and then someone said my name, and I started engaging in conversation with them, and it was fine. And I share that story for 2 reasons. First of all, I wanted to share my personal growth, but at the same time, that's how I feel about this car. There is no worry or extra issues. I want to take a moment here, actually. For real. This actually just happened, and this was not planned at all. I just drove by someone. They were out walking that I do not get along with. They did some very terrible things to my family. This isn't BS. I wish that this was made up for the video, but I promise you it's not. I've been waiting for the day to see that person and just lay into them. And I just had the opportunity. And I didn't. I'm not kidding. I have goosebumps right now. But that's exactly my point. That couldn't have come at a more perfect time. I don't feel that aggression boiling inside of me like I used to. Because you know what? I'm doing okay. For right now, at this point in my life, I'm all right. And saying what I wanted to say or doing what I wanted to do to that person wasn't going to make me feel any better. It wasn't going to make my day any better. I have to say, that boils down to the Lexus. It just de-stresses you in a way that non-luxury cars just can't. I wish that all cars could be luxurious to this level. I think that there would be a lot less road rage. I think that there would be a lot less angry, tight-fisted, white-knuckled dinners. Because even if I was driving this car to my own divorce hearing, it would be hard to show up angry. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the different tone of this video. I assure you, tomorrow's video, I will be right back to screaming in your ear about some type of automobile. But today, I'm not. And I hope you guys enjoyed, or I hope your ears enjoyed the day off. But huge thank you to Lexus for sending me this vehicle to drive for a week. It has been so amazing to my mood and how I view life. I know that sounds really, grandiose and sort of philosophical, but it's not. It's really not. Huge thank you to Lexus. Huge thank you to Drive Shop for facilitating the delivery and cleaning of this vehicle. Huge thank you to the Midwestern Automotive Media Association. And huge thank you to you. If you take anything from this video, it's going to be okay. Whatever you're going through, money's a little tight, you're not talking to the person you want to be talking to, you have 18 different things on your agenda and not enough time to do it, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It always has been. You've made it this far. And if you want to send that mean text, you want to write that email, do it. Write out the text. Write the email. Say everything you want. And hit delete. Get it out, but don't send it. This has been more eye-opening than I ever thought it would be. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care. Have a great rest of your day.